Most people wake up and rush into chaos. But one modern emperor began each morning by conquering himself. Marcus Aurelius, ruler of the most powerful empire on earth, faced battles, betrayals, and loss. Yet every dawn before the empire awoke, he followed 12 simple rules. Not to rule others, but to rule his own mind. He didn't start his day scrolling through distractions or chasing comfort. He started it with silence, with gratitude, and with brutal honesty. Because the Stoic morning isn't about feeling good, it's about becoming good. While the world slept, Marcus wrote to himself at dawn, "When you rise unwillingly, think of the privilege it is to be alive." Those words built an emperor who stayed calm in the face of war. And now, 2,000 years later, his morning rules still transform lives. The question is, will you rise like the 1% who live with discipline, or fall back asleep with the 99 who only dream about it? Because the secret Marcus knew wasn't hidden in power. It was hidden in how you start your morning. Rule 1, rise before the world does. Most people open their eyes each morning and already feel behind. They grab their phone, scroll through other people's lives, and begin the day reacting instead of ruling. But Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, started differently. He wrote in his journal nearly 2,000 years ago, "At dawn, when you rise unwillingly, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to love." This is not poetry. It's a command. The Stoics believe discipline begins the moment your eyes open. Before your feet touch the ground, you've already made your first decision of the day, to rise or to retreat. Take a breath with me. Now ask yourself, who do you become in that moment between the alarm and your decision to rise? Science now confirms what the Stoics knew intuitively. Early risers report 31% higher productivity and 52% better focus during the day. Their stress levels are lower and their sense of control is stronger. Because waking early isn't just about time, it's about psychology. When you rise before the world belongs to you. It's quiet, the air is untouched, and in that silence, you can hear your own mind. Marcus used those hours not for meetings or politics, but for himself. He read, he reflected, and he trained his soul for war, not the war of soldiers, but the war within. He understood that the morning is not a moment of comfort, it's the forge of character. Do not act as if you are going to live 10,000 years, he warned. While you have life in you, while it is in your power, be good. In modern Japan, Olympic judo champion Tadahiro Nomura wakes up every day at 4:30 a.m. He says, "I meet myself before the world meets me." That hour between darkness and sunrise is where mastery hides. When the rest of the world sleeps, you train. When the world complains, you prepare. When they wake, you are already ahead. Say it with me. The morning is mine. Again, the morning is mine. Try this tomorrow. Set your alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual. Don't check your phone. Step outside or stand near a window. Take 3 deep breaths. Whisper to yourself what a privilege it is to be alive. Then move your body, even 5 minutes of stretching or walking. This act tells your brain, I'm in control. And here's a secret, it's not about perfection. Marcus himself often woke up tired, unwilling, even irritated, but he still rose. Because greatness doesn't come from feeling ready, it comes from acting despite resistance. Every morning you face 2 empires, the external world and the internal one. The external empire is filled with noise, duty, and distraction. The internal empire, your mind is waiting for a leader. Rise before the world does, and you become that leader. Because if you win the morning, you don't just rule the day, you rule your life. In the next lesson, uncover what Marcus did immediately after waking, the secret to calm power, breathing, and observation, the art of mastering the mind before the world begins. Rule 2, breathe and observe. The world wakes up in noise, notifications, traffic, demands. But the Stoic begins with silence. Before touching anything, before the phone, before the rush, he breathes. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That power begins in the first breath. Take a breath with me, in and out. This moment is yours. Every great Stoic practiced observation before action. Epictetus taught, first learn to distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. And how do you begin that process? By breathing. Because breath brings you back to the only thing you truly own, the present moment. Modern neuroscience proves it. A 2021 Stanford study found that 6 slow breaths per minute reduce cortisol by 35% in under 2 minutes. That's not spirituality, that's biology. The Stoics didn't have neuroscience. They had awareness. But awareness is the original science of the soul. Imagine Marcus standing on his balcony at dawn. Rome still sleeps. The city below silent except for distant echoes. He closes his eyes. Inhale. Exhale. The emperor of millions returns to being a man, a single consciousness observing his thoughts. He knows that before he can rule others, he must rule his reactions. Say it with me. Observe before you react. Again, observe before you react. Here's the truth. Most people wake up and instantly surrender. They surrender to distraction, to noise, to urgency. They begin reacting before thinking, living as servants of the outside world. But Stoicism reverses that order. The Stoic morning begins with a pause, a sacred gap between stimulus and response. Viktor Frankl, a modern Stoic in spirit, wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom and our growth." That space is where the Stoic lives. And every conscious breath expands that space. Breathe in, breathe out. You're practicing freedom. Tomorrow morning before doing anything, stop for 60 seconds. Sit up, close your eyes. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Repeat 3 times. Then ask yourself, what thoughts am I feeding right now? Are they useful or just noise? That's not meditation, that's mental maintenance. Marcus didn't meditate to escape the world, he breathed to prepare for it. He observed his own emotions as if they belonged to someone else. That's why his enemies couldn't control him. His breath was his fortress. In an age where attention is the most valuable currency, your breath is the only place where peace is free. The average person checks their phone 344 times a day. But how many times do they check in with themselves? How many moments of true awareness do they live? The Stoic understands peace is not found by escaping life. It's found by entering it fully, breath by breath. Every inhale is a reminder, I'm alive. Every exhale is a reminder, I let go. Marcus once said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That retreat begins with one mindful breath. When the morning feels heavy, when your mind races toward chaos, return to the breath and you return to yourself. Take one more deep breath with me. Inhale clarity, exhale control. Because the calmest person in the room always wins, not by force, but by presence. When you breathe and observe, you stop being a slave to the world and become the master of your mind. So tomorrow morning before your first step, before your first thought, breathe. The world can wait, because true power starts in silence. And once you've learned to breathe, to observe your own mind, you're ready for the next challenge, facing the inevitable storms of life. In Rule 3, we'll uncover how Marcus prepared his mind each morning to meet chaos and never be shaken. Rule 3, expect life's chaos. Every morning, Marcus Aurelius wrote the same reminder to himself. Today I shall meet people who are selfish, ungrateful, deceitful, arrogant, envious, and unkind. Not because he was bitter, but because he was ready. This single practice made him unshakable. Because when you expect chaos, chaos loses its power to surprise you. Most people wake up hoping the day will be perfect, but the Stoic knows perfection is a fantasy. The world will test you. The traffic will be bad. Someone will lie. Someone will fail you. That's not misfortune, that's life. Marcus didn't wake up angry, he woke up prepared. He knew if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That's the Stoic advantage, the power to stay calm while others crumble. Take a breath. Feel that quiet in your chest. That's your strength, not noise, not emotion, just clarity. One morning, Marcus learned that his most trusted general had betrayed him. The Senate whispered of rebellion. His closest ally became his rival. Yet he didn't rage. He walked to his journal, opened it, and wrote, "You can't control what they do. You can only control what you think." Then he went back to work. History remembers his calm more than his crown. In 2023, Harvard researchers found that people who practiced emotional anticipation, meaning they expected setbacks, daily reported 40% lower stress and 25% higher resilience than those who didn't. Why? Because they didn't waste energy being surprised. They train for the storm. When you stop expecting life to be easy, it actually becomes easier. Say it with me. Expect everything, fear nothing. Again, expect everything, fear nothing. The Stoic doesn't run from difficulty, he rehearses it. Seneca called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of misfortune. Every morning he imagined losing what he had: wealth, comfort, reputation, not to be sad, but to be stronger. He said he robs present ills of their power who has already seen their coming. By rehearsing pain, you disarm it. You meet life not as a victim, but as a strategist. Tomorrow morning, before checking your phone or speaking to anyone, close your eyes and ask, what could go wrong today? Maybe your boss criticizes you. Maybe your plans fail. Picture it clearly. Now imagine yourself calm, breathing unmoved. You smile and adapt. That's mental armor forged before the first arrow flies. Inhale acceptance. Exhale resistance. In 2009, when Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger's plane lost both engines over New York, he had seconds to act. 155 lives depended on him. Reporters later asked, how did you stay calm? He replied, for 40 years I've been making decisions just like this one, breath at a time. That's Stoicism in action, train calm. Expect chaos, prepare peace. The world doesn't need another angry man, it needs a calm one. The calm man sees clearly, acts wisely, and leads quietly. Each morning, expect storms. Because when you expect life to be unpredictable, nothing can shake you. Not failure, not loss, not even death. Life isn't against you. It's testing if you're ready to rise above it. Expect the chaos. Embrace the noise. Then meet it with stillness. That's how emperors are made. And when the storm passes, and it will, you'll stand where Marcus once stood, calm, steady, free. Now that you're ready for the world's storms, it's time to build the anchor that keeps your mind unshaken. Gratitude. In Rule 4, well reveal why Marcus began each morning thanking life before facing its battles. Rule 4, practice gratitude before goals. Every emperor wakes to duty, armies to command, senators to face, crises to control. Yet Marcus Aurelius began his day not with orders, but with gratitude. He wrote, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Before his crown, before his council, before his coffee, Marcus thanked life itself. Take a slow breath in. Right now, you too are alive. That alone is the starting point of power. Modern research backs what the Stoics already lived. A 2022 UC Davis study showed that people who write down 3 things they're grateful for each morning experience, 25% greater happiness, lower blood pressure, and better sleep. Gratitude isn't self-help, fluff its psychological armor. Marcus faced betrayal, plague, and war, and yet every dawn he whispered thank you. Because gratitude reframes survival into strength. Say it with me, thank you for today. Again, thank you for today. One morning, a messenger brought Marcus a letter his troops had fallen to disease. Thousands lost. The emperor could have cursed the fates. Instead, he closed his eyes and said, I am still breathing to lead those who remain. That is Stoic gratitude, not for comfort, but for capacity. He understood gratitude as not ignoring pain. It's remembering your power within it. We often begin our days with what we lack. I need more time. I need more money. I need more respect. But the Stoic begins with what is already there. Breath, mind, opportunity. Epictetus reminded his students, he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Breathe in appreciation. Exhale comparison. In 2011, a Harvard Business Review survey found that employees who expressed gratitude to their teams in the morning boosted productivity by 50% within 2 weeks. Why? Because gratitude creates focus, and focus is freedom. Marcus wasn't thankful for everything that happened. He was thankful for the chance to respond well. That's the Stoic distinction. Gratitude isn't pretending life is perfect, it's remembering you can remain peaceful while it isn't. Each morning before your goals or your coffee, write down 3 lines. What do I already have that others might pray for? Who helped me reach today? What challenge am I grateful for because it teaches me strength? Do this for 7 days. Watch how your language shifts from I have to I get to. Because when you begin with gratitude, your goals become a gift, not a grind. Say it again, I get to live today. Marcus once said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you wake up thinking scarcity, your day turns gray. If you wake up thinking gratitude, you paint the world in light. Every thank you is a brushstroke of peace across the canvas of your mind. You cannot control the storms outside, but you can color your own sky. During the worst days of World War II, a Polish prisoner named Viktor Frankl found gratitude in a crust of bread. He wrote, "There was still beauty in the world, a sunset through barbed wire." That is the height of Stoicism, to say thank you when everything else says despair. Gratitude is not a reaction. It's a revolution of perspective. So tomorrow, before you write your goals or check your messages, pause. Whisper 3 words to yourself, thank you, life. Because the moment you feel grateful, you stop chasing meaning and start living it. Gratitude before goals, that's how Marcus Aurelius transformed ordinary mornings into sacred ones. But Marcus did not stay in comfort, he chose the cold. In the next rule, we'll step into his philosophy of discomfort, why the Stoic begins each day with a challenge, and how pain became his teacher. Rule 5, begin with discomfort. The Stoics believed growth hides in discomfort. Marcus Aurelius began each morning not by seeking ease, but by meeting challenge. He wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." To him, comfort was the enemy of greatness, because every time you choose comfort, you choose weakness. Take a deep breath. Feel that resistance, that the starting line of strength. Marcus woke before dawn, washed his face in cold water, and faced the chill of reality. That shock, that jolt of discomfort reminded him I'm alive and I'm in control. He didn't run from the cold, he invited it. Because Stoicism is not about feeling good, it's about becoming unbreakable. Modern science now agrees. A study at the University of Helsinki found that a 30-second cold shower every morning boosts dopamine levels by 250%, increases focus, and reduces stress for up to 4 hours. The Stoics didn't know the chemistry, they knew the truth. Easy mornings create soft minds. Say it with me. Comfort kills courage. Again, comfort kills courage. Tomorrow, start your day with one small act of discomfort. A cold shower, 10 push-ups before coffee, saying no when your comfort says yes. You're not punishing yourself, you're proving that you can endure more than you think. Seneca wrote, "Throw yourself into discomfort, for in hardship the soul grows stronger." When you deliberately choose a little pain, you become fearless toward greater ones. At 4:30 a.m. every morning, David Goggins, ultramarathon runner and former Navy SEAL, runs before sunrise. He says, "I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done." That's Stoicism in motion, not talent, not luck, just relentless practice through pain. Because every time you face something hard and don't quit, your identity shifts from victim to warrior. Take one more breath. Feel the chill. That's not pain, that's potential waking up. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So tomorrow when life feels hard, smile. It means you're being forged, not broken. Begin your day with discomfort and the rest of it will never scare you again. And once your body and will are disciplined, it's time to sharpen the mind. In Rule 6, we'll uncover how Marcus Aurelius used journaling to turn daily reflection into a weapon of wisdom. Rule 6, journal like an emperor. Before Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome, he ruled his thoughts. Every morning before soldiers, senators, or speeches, he sat alone and wrote. His book, Meditations, wasn't meant for the world. It was his private therapy, a dialogue between the emperor and his soul. He asked himself, what's within my control today? What kind of man do I want to be, no matter what happens? Take a breath. When was the last time you talked with yourself, not to yourself? Marcus used writing as a weapon, not to escape life, but to understand it. He wrote through anger, through fear, through temptation. Because when your mind speaks too loudly, the pen gives it direction. Science now supports this ancient wisdom. A 2020 University of Texas study found that expressive writing for just 15 minutes reduces anxiety by 27% and improves problem solving by 40%. When you write, you don't suppress emotion, you structure it. The Stoics believed an unexamined mind is a prison. A written mind is free. Say it with me. Write to organize your soul. Again, write to organize your soul. One morning, Marcus faced the death of a close friend. Instead of hiding the pain, he wrote, "Loss is part of the natural order. I am thankful to have known him." Those words didn't erase grief, they transformed it into wisdom. Writing didn't make him emotionless. It made him emotionally disciplined. Each morning, take 5 minutes and answer 3 Stoic questions. What am I grateful for today? What challenge might I face? And how will I respond with virtue? What is within my control right now? That's it. No fancy notebook, no perfection, just honesty. Over time, these pages become a mirror of your evolution. They show not who you pretend to be, but who you're becoming. Breathe. You're not writing to impress anyone. You're writing to remember who you are. Marcus once said, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you look there." The journal is that well a conversation with your higher self. Every morning the emperor met his own reflection on paper, and that's where leadership began. So tomorrow morning before you face the world, face your own mind. Write, reflect. Lead yourself like an emperor. And once your thoughts are clear and centered, the next challenge appears desire. In Rule 7, we'll explore how Marcus Aurelius detached from craving and chaos and found unshakable peace within. Rule 7, detach from desire. The Stoics warned, desire creates slavery. Marcus Aurelius lived as emperor of the world, yet he feared one thing above all: attachment. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Marcus could command armies, but he refused to be ruled by craving. Because the moment you need something external to feel peace, you've already surrendered your freedom. Take a breath. What's controlling you today, your will or your wants? Marcus trained himself to want less, not because he lacked ambition, but because he wanted clarity. The Stoics knew the fewer your desires, the fewer your chains. Seneca said, "He who needs riches least enjoys riches most," because only a free mind can truly appreciate what it has. Modern science confirms this. A Yale study found that constant pursuit of material goals increases dopamine spikes, followed by emotional crashes that mimic addiction. More wanting, less satisfaction. Desire is the algorithm of anxiety. Say it with me: I own my mind, not my cravings. Again, I own my mind, not my cravings. One morning, a senator offered Marcus a rare gem, priceless, shimmering. He accepted it, admired it for a moment, then handed it back. "A thing of beauty," he said, "but it cannot improve my character." That's Stoic detachment, appreciation without possession. You can hold the world in your hand and still be poor if your happiness depends on keeping it. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means independence. You still love work, create and strive, but you didn't cling. You engage with life fully but lightly. Epictetus compared life to a festival. When the ship is ready to sail, leave willingly and thank the gods for the time you had. Everything is temporary. The Stoic finds peace not in holding on, but in letting go gracefully. Breathe in control, exhale attachment. Choose one thing today, an object, a comfort, or even a habit, and let it go for 24 hours. Notice the craving, the restlessness. Then notice that you are still here, still capable, still calm. That's power. Marcus wrote, "When you arise each day, remind yourself that peace depends on yourself, not on any external thing." Detachment is not the end of love or success. It's the beginning of mastery. When you stop chasing what's meant for you, finally has room to arrive. And once Marcus freed himself from desire, he turned to the true nourishment of the soul, wisdom. In Rule 8, we'll see why one line of knowledge each morning can transform the direction of your entire life. Rule 8, read a line of wisdom. The Stoics believed the mind must be fed before the body. Before Marcus Aurelius touched his breakfast or gave an order, he opened a small scroll, a line of philosophy, a whisper of truth. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. One line. One reflection. Enough to anchor the entire day." Take a breath. What if instead of scrolling your phone, you scrolled your soul? Every morning, Marcus reminded himself, wisdom is not decoration, it's direction. He didn't read to escape reality, but to equip himself for it. Because knowledge without application is noise, but wisdom, even one sentence of it, can change your course. Modern research proves this ancient truth. A 2021 University of Sussex study found that just 6 minutes of reflective reading reduces stress by 68% more than music, coffee, or walking. The Stoics discovered this centuries earlier. For them, reading was not information, it was transformation. Say it with me: feed the mind before the body. Again, feed the mind before the body. One morning, as the empire trembled from rebellion, Marcus read a simple line from Epictetus: "No man is free who is not master of himself." He closed the scroll and said, "Then let me rule my anger first." That morning, his calm prevented civil war. One line, one choice, one nation saved. That's the power of wisdom, not in quantity, but in clarity. We live in the age of information overload. 4 million new YouTube videos, 100 billion WhatsApp messages. But wisdom, real wisdom, hides in silence. Reading one meaningful line each morning focuses your mind like a compass before the storm. Breathe in knowledge. Exhale noise. Each morning before you check your phone, read one short passage from a Stoic or any timeless thinker. Reflect for 60 seconds. How does this apply to today? Don't move on until you feel it, not just know it. Over time, those single lines will become your inner voice. Marcus's entire meditations was built one line at a time. Remember his words: "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Feed your thoughts well, and your life will follow." So tomorrow morning, before the noise, before the rush, open a book or your own journal and read one line of truth. Because one line of wisdom at dawn can guide 1,000 actions before dusk. And once Marcus fed his mind with wisdom, he practiced the hardest art of all presence. In Rule 9, we'll explore how he trained his attention to live fully in every moment. One breath, one step, one cup of coffee at a time. Rule 9, be fully present. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings not with rush, but with awareness. When he drank his water, he only drank. When he wrote, he only wrote. He believed mastery begins with attention. He wrote, "Give yourself fully to what is in front of you. When you do, you live as nature intended." To Marcus, distraction was a disease, presence the cure. Take a breath. Right now, where is your mind? The Stoics knew the mind loves to wander, to replay the past or predict the future. But both are illusions. The only real place life happens is now. Seneca warned, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Every anxious thought, every regret, they exist only in the moments we are not present. Modern neuroscience proves this ancient wisdom. Harvard researchers found that the average person's mind wanders 47% of the time, and that wandering correlates directly with unhappiness. The more present you are, the happier you become. Say it with me. Now is all I have. Again, now is all I have. One morning while walking through the palace garden, Marcus noticed a bird singing. A servant asked, "Why do you stop for such a small thing?" He replied, "Because life itself is made of small things. Miss them and you miss everything." That was his secret. Presence was his power. Because attention is the rarest form of generosity, and Marcus gave it to every moment. Presence is luxury, it's leadership. You can't lead others if you can't lead your own focus. A distracted mind is a weak mind. A present mind is unstoppable. The Stoic doesn't escape the moment, he embraces it. Pain, joy, silence, all are teachers when you are awake enough to listen. Breathe in awareness. Exhale distraction. Practical Stoic exercise. The morning mindfulness ritual. When you wake, before checking your phone, feel your breath. When drinking your coffee, taste every sip, no multitasking. During your first walk or commute, say silently, "I am here. This is my time." Practicing this for just 7 days increases focus and calm by up to 30%, according to research from the University of Washington. You'll notice the world slows down, not because it changed, but because you finally showed up. Marcus wrote, "Confine yourself to the present. The rest is beyond your control. The past is memory. The future is imagination. But the present, that's where power lives. Be fully present, and every moment becomes sacred." And once Marcus mastered his focus, he turned that awareness outward toward others. In Rule 10, we'll explore how serving before self transformed an emperor into a true philosopher king. Rule 10, serve before self. Every morning before Marcus Aurelius thought of his comfort, he thought of his duty. As emperor of Rome, he didn't ask, "What will I gain today?" He asked, "Whom can I serve?" He wrote, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." To Marcus, life's meaning wasn't found in luxury, but in contribution. Take a breath. Who will benefit from your actions today? The Stoics believed that service is the highest form of self-mastery. Epictetus taught, "No man is an island. What we do for others, we do for ourselves." Because when you live only for yourself, your world becomes small, but when you live for others, your soul expands. Modern psychology agrees. Studies from the University of Michigan found that people who regularly help others have 22% lower stress levels and live 4 years longer on average. Service isn't just moral, it's medicinal. Say it with me, I rise to serve. Again, I rise to serve. One morning, Marcus was informed that a senator had betrayed him. His advisors urged punishment. But Marcus replied, "If I cannot forgive, how can I lead?" He invited the man to breakfast instead. By serving with grace instead of anger, he turned an enemy into an ally and preserved peace in Rome. To serve before self isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Because anger consumes, but service creates. In a world obsessed with me, the Stoic wakes up for we. True greatness doesn't shout, it serves quietly. When you make your morning about helping one person, your heart becomes lighter, your purpose sharper. Marcus reminded himself each day, the fruit of this life is good character and acts for the common good. Breathe in humility, exhale ego. Before breakfast, do one small act that benefits someone else. Send a message of encouragement. Help a colleague. Smile at a stranger. Listen without interrupting. Do this before doing anything for yourself. Because every morning you serve, you strengthen the muscle of empathy and purpose. Over time, your identity shifts from seeker of comfort to giver of meaning. Marcus Aurelius lived surrounded by power, yet he said to do good for others is to live according to nature. Serving others was not his duty, it was his joy. Rise to serve, because when you lift others, you rise with them. And every act of service reminded Marcus of one truth, that life itself is fragile and fleeting. In Rule 11, we'll uncover how reflecting on mortality each morning gave him the strength to live and lead without fear. Rule 11, reflect on mortality. Every sunrise, Marcus Aurelius whispered to himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." For the Stoics, remembering death wasn't morbid, it was motivating. Because when you remember life is short, you finally start living. Take a breath. Feel your heartbeat, that's borrowed time ticking. Marcus faced death daily, war, plague, betrayal, yet he never feared it. He said it is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. The Stoics called it memento mori. Remember you will die, not to cause despair, but to awaken urgency. Modern psychology echoes this truth. A Cornell University study found that people reminded of their mortality reported higher gratitude, stronger relationships, and a 34% increase in life satisfaction. Awareness of death doesn't kill joy, it creates it. Say it with me, I will die, so I will live fully. Again, I will die, so I will live fully. One dawn, as soldiers prepared for battle, Marcus stood before them and said, "Today some of us will not see the sunset. So fight not in fear, but in honor." That day his words carried more power than any sword, because truth always does. When you realize each sunrise could be your last, you stop wasting mornings on trivial things. You forgive faster, love deeper, speak kinder. Each morning whisper to yourself, if today were my last, would I act differently? Then act that way. One honest answer each morning can turn routine into legacy. Marcus wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Remember death not to fear it, but to honor the life you still hold." Memento mori. Let mortality sharpen your purpose, not your panic. And when Marcus looked death in the eye each morning, he also looked at life and asked, who will I choose to be today? In Rule 12, we'll end this journey with the final Stoic ritual, deciding your identity before the world decides it for you. Rule 12, decide who you'll be. Before Marcus Aurelius stepped out of his chamber each morning, he made one silent decision. Who will I be today? Not what he would do, not what he would achieve, but who he would choose to become. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Every morning he painted his character before the world could paint it for him. Take a breath. Who are you choosing to be today? Marcus knew identity isn't found, it's forged. The Stoic doesn't wait for the day to define him. He defines himself first and lives accordingly. Modern psychology agrees. Studies from Stanford University show that people who visualize their ideal self at the start of each day are 40% more likely to act in alignment with their values. Intention shapes action, action shapes identity. Say it with me, I choose who will be. Again, I choose who will be. One morning after a night of political chaos, Marcus wrote simply, "Today I choose calm. Today I choose courage." And that day he faced betrayal, anger, and loss without breaking his peace, because he had already decided who he would be. The world cannot shake what's already decided. Each morning before you step into the noise, finish this sentence. Today I will be my remand, calm, honest, patient, grateful. Repeat it until it feels true, then live it. Do it daily and your identity will no longer drift with circumstance. Like Marcus, you'll become the author of your own character. Breathe in clarity, exhale confusion. Marcus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond that defines you." So decide your response before the world tests you. Each morning is a blank scroll. Write your name on it, boldly, wisely, intentionally. Because if you don't choose who you'll be, someone else will. Rise early. Breathe. Expect chaos. Be grateful. Seek wisdom. Serve others. Remember death. And above all, decide who you'll be. That's how Marcus Aurelius, a man, not a god, built an empire of peace within himself. The world may never remember your titles, but it will remember your character. Choose wisely. Live stoically. If this video inspired you, share it with someone who needs calm in chaos. Comment below, "I will rise like a Stoic." And remember, transformation doesn't start tomorrow. It starts the moment you open your eyes and rule your morning. Subscribe to Making Life Better for more wisdom, more strength, and more peace each day. Because a Stoic morning creates a powerful life.